I'll recognize you for another round, okay? Thank you. All right, Senator Markey, welcome. Good to see you, bud.
Oh, thank you. Good to see you. Good to see you, Mr. Administrator. I like you. And I love your agency, you know, so I was elected.
The time of the gentleman has expired.
I was elected in 1976, 6 years after the agency was created. So I've served in Congress for 90% of the life expectancy of the EPA, and I know how much longer life expectancy is in the United States today than it was then because of the EPA, and that's a big benefit for our society. Mr. Administrator, congratulations on making the historic Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund awards for the National Clean Financing Network. When I introduced the National Climate Bank Act and when I worked with Chairman Carper on this language in the Inflation Reduction Act, I knew this would be a transformational program, if done right. And you did it right, Mr. Administrator. And I'm leading an appropriations letter to fight for your request on ongoing support for oversight as well. This climate bank money is out the door, and it's ready to bring clean power owned by communities onto the grid, help working families cut their electricity bills, and leverage new private dollars into projects that will do good for the public. Is that a priority for your agency going forward, just to make sure that it's up and running by the end of this year?
It absolutely is, and thank you for your leadership and dedication. Over 15 years focused on this topic. We were glad to get it done. Loved doing the visit with you in Boston to make the announcement. I feel really good about this program. We've consulted with all the experts, outside, inside. We know that this capital will pull billions of dollars of private sector capital off the sidelines. And so, yes, it's a priority. We want the oversight. We're asking for the oversight because we know we have a solid program, so we appreciate your support on that.
No, thank you. And as you know, it was in Waxman Markey in 2009, but it took Chairman Carper, you know, to get it over the finish line. A little bit late, but still in time to be able to make a big difference. Early this year, the Environmental Protection Agency finalized the Clean Cars Rule, which will help us accelerate towards our climate targets and put the brakes on drivers' dependence on pricey fossil fuels. And I thank my colleague, Senator Ricketts, for talking about the importance of investing in chargers. And I would love to work with you on that, just to get them out there and make sure that people have confidence, you know, with this range anxiety, which plays a big role in how people view their ability to purchase a vehicle. And the rule that has been promulgated is estimated to avoid more than 7 billion metric tons of carbon pollution, equivalent to 4 times the annual emissions from the entire transportation sector, making this the single most significant climate rule in U.S. and world history. So, Administrator Regan, in addition to the climate benefits, is this regulation going to cut costs for American drivers as well?
Thank you for the question, Senator, and it absolutely has proven that it will cut cost over the duration of this regulation. I think I want to just say that, you know, it's not just me. These car companies are running $7 million Super Bowl ads to their constituents saying the future is hybrid and electric. What we've done is put together a regulation that coincides with where technology and the market is going. So it's not only good for the environment, but it's good for the economy, and it will be good for people's pockets.
Right. And again, it's projected to prevent 25,000 premature deaths.
That's right.
Big benefit.
Big benefit.
And also save $6,000 for a consumer over the lifetime of that vehicle. Last year, EPA selected 17 thriving community technical assistance centers to provide technical support and grant writing assistance to disadvantaged communities and grassroots organizations interested in the Inflation Reduction Act's historic new funding opportunities. And it's called TIC-TAC, which is easy to understand. And while these centers were set up across the country, Region 1, which serves Massachusetts and Rhode Island, still does not have an office in our region. Administrator Regan, would you commit to working with us to ensure that a center that can partner with Massachusetts, environmental justice groups has stood up in Region 1 by the end of this year.
I can do that. I know we are taking a very close look at that and putting those wheels into motion. So yes, we can commit to setting up that technical assistance resource for Region 1.
That'll be very helpful to us. Administrator Regan, is the recently announced Environmental Justice Clearinghouse another tool that community organizations can use to understand, track, and win grants from the Inflation Reduction Act?
Absolutely. This is a multi-agency tool that we put in place that speaks to not just the grant opportunities within, multiple grant opportunities within EPA, but the multiple grant opportunities that span the entire administration. And this is a sort of fingertip way of getting information on technical assistance and training and funding opportunities, as well as screening and mapping tools to ensure that these grants that are submitted are competitive.
No, beautiful. And Mr. Administrator, when it comes to the power plant regulations, all I can say is all these new arguments about carbon capture and hydrogen are a very different tune from what we heard when working on the Inflation Reduction Act, and I'm glad we have seen your strong 4 new rules. And I urge utility lobbyists to figure out what hymnal they're singing from. If CCS and hydrogen are off the table, I'll be happy to help my colleagues find a better use for the power sector's billions in subsidies and support, but I'm glad that the administration and you are moving forward with those proposals. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. I can assure you that my conversations with the industry assures me that CCS and hydrogen are on the table, taking advantage of tax credits and resources from IRA, and that I and we should ensure that there's a future for those specific technologies.
And they're interested and enthusiastic.
They're interested and enthusiastic. And as I said earlier, the tension points that are happening are based on timing and percentages, not whether we pursue it and how we do it.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Markey, thanks so much